Hello, my wonderful ladies. This is Moni Millares here, and I welcome you to Celebrate You, the personal development podcast for the career and entrepreneurial woman. Welcome. Yay! This is episode number 2, and I want to start every episode celebrating you, celebrating me, and celebrating what's going on in life. So obviously, this week is International Women's Day week. So I am celebrating absolutely every single one of us, our greatness, our quirkiness, our passion, our strength, our kindness, our vulnerability, our love, everything. And of course, we are part of the change that's happening. And my way of being part of the change is by, of course, I've been not only part of the change, but I've been on the recipient side, uh, from a women's perspective, if you know what I mean. So my way to fight, or not fight, but my way to change and to celebrate women is by elevating us, by being the light, by being love. And I think that by focusing on that frequency and being like really a powerhouse of light, that's how we can change. So I cannot think of a better way of being that light for myself and others than focusing on being blessed. So today I want to celebrate all my blessings and by being of service to others. So in this episode, I want to talk about purpose, service, and what's the difference between these two, right? And more importantly, I want to share with you the high school trip to the Tarahumara Mountains in Mexico that it left such a deep impact in my life, uh, that it still, like it still touches me. And this was when I was 17. So I just want to share that with you. I'll get into the story soon. So let's get started. First things first, purpose and service. There's a lot of talk about purpose, finding your purpose, working for a purpose driven company, changing the world, doing meaningful work. The I obviously believe in the message of purpose. It's an amazing message, and at the same time I believe it's been a little bit commercialized too. There's tons of coaches, personal development programs helping people find their purpose. And while I believe it's important to reflect and ponder on what is it our purpose in life, and it gives us a lot of guidance, I believe another really good question to ponder on is, how can I be of service? So, how can I be of service? This is something that we can scale up and down, depending on how our life is going. And it's a less daunting question. It's not the big thing, oh, what's my purpose in life? What's my mission? What am I doing here? It's as simple as today, uh, how can I be of service? And I was very lucky that I grew up with this message. This message was given to me since I was a little kid. The slogan in my kindergarten and primary school back in Mexico was, I'll say it in Spanish, it was, El que no vive para servir, no sirve para vivir. And that means, in English, uh, that who, not that, yeah, that who doesn't live to serve does not serve to live. So let me repeat that again. That one who doesn't live to serve does not serve to live. And I find it like so powerful. Um, so this idea of service is something that's very tangible that we can connect to every single day. purpose, I love the concept of purpose. Purpose is like my guidance. It's my guiding star. It's like my North Star. While service and asking how can I be of service is something that I can bring to life every single day of my life. And I can be of service at home, I can be of service at work, with friends, family. I just think it's a little bit more practical. And given that, coming back what I said at the beginning of the podcast, coming back to how can we be that force of change by being the light and by spreading love, like being of service, like that's it. Like we are properly changing the world by being of service. Um, so in my personal case, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get caught up in the exact words of defining what is my purpose in life, because this experience when I was 17 and I went to the Tarahumara Mountains, it was so powerful that it left something in my heart and in my soul and everything that I don't need to have the human words. You know what I mean? I don't have to have the phrase in English or Spanish that says, my purpose in life is X, Y, or Z. That experience showed me at the deepest level of my core and being that I am so fortunate. Like I am so fortunate of where I am in life and I've always been. And that's imprinted in my heart. So sometimes like I feel it's just like my duty, responsibility, it's just part of my karma. You know, like as a human being so fortunate to being where I am, like all I can do is to be of service to those who are less fortunate that I am or more vulnerable that I am. So the how I approach this is I have multiple ways, but like one way is I donate a percentage of my monthly income, and I don't do it like all of it goes to one cause. On the contrary, I have like a little bit goes to cancer research, a little bit goes to homeless youth, a little bit goes to kids, sponsoring kids in Africa. A little bit goes to supporting people I love as well. And a big part of how I see this is as well my work. So the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, like in the bank, it has direct impact on millions of lives, like financial well-being. There's a way to go. So my case, I'm building like better banks. So that like I use all these little things to ensure that I am connected to being of service. Also, one of the things that I do is I put pictures into my mind that remind me that I'm here to not only live an amazing life, but to also help elevate others. So when things get tough in life or work, looking at my purpose slash service slash these images, that allows me to be a little bit more resilient when I don't want to. And when it gets tough and I'm like, no, but like there's a reason why I'm doing all this and it is important. In my particular case, one of the pictures that I have very visible in my house is the pictures of when I went to the Tarahumara Mountains and a letter that I wrote back then. So today, this is like a different podcast, I guess, like because like today I want to go through that letter with you. Want to share the letter with you just to put context. This is a high school trip that we went to the Tarahumara Mountains in Mexico. That's where the Tarahumara indigenous community lives. It's one of the poorest regions of Mexico. And in my high school, there was this teacher who every single year she could organize a trip. We would fly to the north of the country. send a truck packed with food and clothes and beverages. And then once we got there, we could distribute them. And that is a trip that changed my life. It was intense, very, very intense. But like I said, thank God I captured it in a letter. This is in 2001 when I was a kid. And basically, when I came back home from that trip, the story is when I came back home, I remember like that weekend. I went to the movies with my mom and my auntie and my uncle. I don't remember if my cousin and my brother were there, but we went to the movies, and I couldn't stop crying. And they were like the adults. They were like so worried. They were like, "Oh, something happened to you. Somebody did something." It's like, and I was like, "No, no, I'm fine." But I just couldn't stop crying. And my mom recommended to write a letter and just to write it down and go through the reflections, I guess, of the experience. And that letter, I have it here in my house. And that's what I want to do today. I want to go through the letter with you. So the title of the letter is The Burden. And it goes like this. The burden. When they ask me how did it go, all I say is quote unquote fine. However, I say it very plain and inexpressive, and people realize this. It went well, and we had an incredible time, but when they ask me, that's not the first thing that comes to mind, but the misery I saw. The gaze of the Tarahumara people, empty, dead, sad, without illusions, without a future, resigned, hungry, as if they were living dead. I tried to be strong from the moment I saw them, and we gave the kids some oranges, bread, and beans. But I couldn't. That's why I preferred to stay in the kitchen and prepare the bread and beans, rather than being out with them and feel again how their gaze and feel again how their lost gaze towards nothingness pierced my soul. It was not only me, because there were just a couple who continued bringing the food out. The rest of us, we cooked and washed the dishes. The worst thing is that we all pretended this was not happening, and we continued without saying a word. From that moment, it was clear to me that we had changed. That now we value much more everything we have, and we thank God for everything He has given us and for being so fortunate in life. When we were giving out the clothes, some people snatched them from our hands so that we couldn't change our mind and give it to other families. Some continued with their unexpressive eyes, looking at the nothingness. But others lit up, and that's when I appreciated that we were what we were doing. Fortunately, it was hot during the day and not freezing cold as it usually is, since at least me personally, I could have not been strong enough to see people cold while I was wearing my jumper, jacket, scarf, and gloves. When we started giving out the food boxes that we put together the previous afternoon, nobody imagined that families could open them on the spot. For us, the most logical thing was that they could wait to get home. But no, they all opened their boxes. And while some ate cookies, others, hmm, others ate uncooked hard pasta. Wow. And others, the powder to make instant soup. Okay, let me repeat that. But no, they all opened their boxes, and while some ate cookies, others ate uncooked hard pasta, and others the powder to make instant soup. That night, I was grateful for everything I had, and I did not wait to reflect. I was doing it all day. However, I never wrote it down because I wasn't sure what to write. The date we left was a chique. We went to the local school, and it was impressive how four children could sleep in a single bunk bed. And just as children's eyes looked sad, so did those of the skinny dogs. Monica, November 2001. Wow. Give me 1 second. I need some water. Yeah. Mm, I wasn't really expecting that. Okay. Woohoo. Breathe in and breathe out. Whew. Okay. So, coming back to you, coming back to the podcast, and being fully present. Uh, you don't have to have an experience like that at a young age to be a force of good. So don't stop with the, oh, don't start with the, oh, I wish I had that experience and I can reconnect. It's like, no, you don't need that. You need to be where you are today. And from the place where you are today, actually, it is as simple as reconnecting to our hearts and what is important to us in our lives. And a very easy way to do this is just putting your two hands in your chest, taking a deep breath in and connecting to your heart. That always works. So while purpose and service is important, actually, and also being International Women's Day, well, week, um, purpose and service is super important. But the key message I want to leave with you today is, how are you being of service to yourself? Yes, not to others, but to yourself. Because it is until we are in a place of peace, love, and abundance that we can really have a major impact in the world. Because then we start giving from a place of overflow and not from a place of stress, lack, and scarcity. So, this week is International Women's Week Day. Woo! So I'm inviting you to consciously being of service to yourself this week. Please celebrate yourself. Give yourself that cupcake or that cup of tea or that chocolate or that time in the gym or that going to the spa or that time without the children. Just be of service to yourself. Meditate, like do whatever makes you happy. And acknowledge that that time is important. Um, I'd love to be able to expand like tons, tons and tons on this topic today, but I think that's not the purpose of this podcast. I think the purpose was to put the message out there about being of service. However, there's a way that I and other women can support you. So if you want to explore this further, how you can be of service to yourself, how you can be of service to others, and basically how you can reconnect to your heart and have a guiding hand with other amazing women. My friends Maria and Yumi and her friends are doing a free 5 day online event. I forgot the name of the event, to be honest. But it's about women's feminine leadership and women's empowerment. And we are talking exactly about all these beautiful topics on how to celebrate International Women's Day. I met Maria in 2013, probably in Bali, in a seminar called Awesomeness Fest from Mind Valley, and it was absolutely amazing. So we've been friends since then. And she does amazing leadership work. She's been my coach multiple times in the past, so she's like super cool. And then Yumi, I met her about a year ago, roughly, and she does amazing work around parenting. But what, even though I'm not a parent yet, like all of her work is very rooted on how you how who you are as a mom and who you are as a woman. So she'll be guiding some of the sessions that I found like super inspiring too. So this event will be on Facebook. It starts on the 15th of March. I'm really looking forward to it because they will open with the cacao ceremony, and I've never been in a cacao ceremony. So I so much want to be part of it. So there is going to be opening with cacao ceremony. There is going to be talks about self worth, self love, your vision, health, wealth, uh, being like being you, like unapologetic you, money, changing our energy, meditation, sound, like it is like a treat. It is super cool. And I am really looking forward to joining it next week. So it starts on the 15th. So if you want to be part of these, just drop me a comment on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, or even on Spotify. I realized the other day that you can send voice messages. I think there's a link. There's a link in the description. So if you just like reach out to me, you can just put the word service because that's the topic of this podcast for today: service or being of service. Send me a direct message, and then I'll reach out to you. So this was more intense than I thought, to be honest. It kind of cut my flow altogether. But I think it was beautiful. It's my honor to be able to share this with you. And I thank you for giving me the space to be me, the space to share, and the space to celebrate. So thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you. So that's it. That's it for today. Let's be of service. Let's elevate each other. And yeah, we it's like we've got this. Yeah, girl power is real. Like we've got this, and service is something very very close to my heart. My mom used to say, uh, translation something along the lines of charity starts at home. And what I always took of that phrase was it's not charity starts at home, but it's more of service. Service and love starts at home. And she always meant with family and friends and those people close to us, like our immediate circle of influence. But actually, over time, I've realized that what it also meant was service starts with me. That's it. I think that's where I'll leave it today. Service starts with me. Have a wonderful week. Speak to you next week. And remember to be of service to yourself and to celebrate yourself. Sending you much, 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 much love. A huge hug all the way from Malaysia, going all the way through the planet, covering from Malaysia to all Asia to India to Europe to London to the Atlantic Ocean, all the way to all of the American continent, from Canada to US, Mexico, and all the way down to Argentina and Brazil, sending like a huge, huge, huge wave of love and good energy. We've got our backs. Sending you much love and speak with you next week. Ciao, ciao. Bye, bye.